Hey everyone, welcome to my car. So, Uber Lyft driving, I've been doing it for a little while now, and I just had the friendliest guy, really sad story, and I think it's representative of a lot of people who are really nice, sweet people. The tremendously sad story. So, if and there's going to be a moral to all of this, and also some solutions that I'll just put out there for anyone who's interested. And my website, by the way, if you dig this stuff, is tomberkenmeyer.com, just like it's spelled here on social media, tomberkenmeyer.com. Hi, Yvette, Dawn, October, Katie. Wow, cool. Okay, and by the way, every dollar I make from lifting and Uber driving goes right into my affordable housing project. I take nothing for me. It all goes right into the affordable housing project, and I've got whole blogs written on how I accomplish that and how my bills are covered by other means. So this guy gets in my car, really super cool guy, and he asked me to help him with his seatbelt. I'm like, sure, why not? And he just goes on to say, I've got neuropathy really bad in my hands. I can't feel my hands and my legs. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm like, oh man, that's terrible. And I'm like, so what are you doing about that? Do they have a treatment or a diet you're on? And he's like, the doctors have me on this treatment. Hopefully it helps. And he named off these drugs. Obviously nothing natural, just pharmacological effects, and nothing against that. But there was no mention of anything to do with his lifestyle, his diet, and, de-stressing, better sleep, all those things, nothing whatsoever. And so I'm not just going to start preaching to him about this stuff because, that kind of turns people off, unfortunately. So I didn't say anything about it. I've got signs in my car. Like, I'm not a regular Uber Lyft driver. I've got all these signs in my car of different things. Like, there's resources to get healthy recipes, for example. So I'm hoping in my brain he sees that, he asks me about it, and then maybe I can segue into something that could really help him out. Like, I could have gotten to the spinach soup that this guy used to heal all the nerve endings in his legs and grew them all back when the doctor said he couldn't. And I could have just gone on from there and maybe really opened up some doors for this guy who's really nice. So I basically take him to a convenient gas station, a Quick Trip. And so he comes back, I'm out there waiting for him for a couple of minutes. He comes back with a 2-liter thing of soda and a big bag of cheese puffs or whatever it was. And I'm thinking to myself, oh dear God, he's already this far gone to where he can't feel his hands and he can't buckle himself in without help. And he's still doing the same thing that brought him to that sad situation, this incredibly nice man. He's still doing the exact things that brought him to that incredibly sad, preventable and reversible situation. And I highly doubt his doctors have gone over that with him. Or maybe they have. I don't know. I can't say one way or the other because I don't know his doctors. But I'll just say, statistically speaking, I can at least speculate, it's probable his doctors are not really addressing that much, if at all. So that relates to a lot of people. There's a lot of really nice people who are killing themselves by stuff like that they eat. And if you guys are following me and you're my friend, I'm probably preaching to the choir. So what do we do to help people like that out? Well, I got involved in a business 11 years ago this August, approaching that pretty soon now, which goes exactly to the heart of that, helping people get healthy from whatever it is that ails them, not just neuropathy. That's a common one, but anything, whether it just be being overweight or diabetes or low energy, bad digestion, regularity, whatever the case may be. And also that goes to somebody's pocketbook. I remember him saying, you're a really nice guy, nice Uber driver. I'd love to give you a tip, but I don't have any money, so I just write you a good review. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. Of course, tips are always appreciated. But if you don't have it, that's fine, and I appreciate the good review. So he's probably writing me up a good review right now because I just dropped him off a minute ago. So that also goes toward, he's probably getting the cheaper food thinking, oh, I'm saving some money, because that's what people do, right? Go for the cheaper food, they save money. And it turns out skimping out on stuff that you put in your body costs you everything. Eventually down the road, it catches up with you and you're at an enormous net loss. I remember years ago, I was reading something that said, people who skimp out on who go for the cheaper food to save a little bit of money at the grocery store cash register, they will spend an average of 6 figures, that's $100,000 and more, on healthcare related costs because they skimped out at the cash register at the grocery store. So whatever you're saving at the grocery store, you're going to more than make up with healthcare related costs throughout the course of your life. Now, because it doesn't happen right away, most people aren't going to notice it, not at all, and they'll keep on keeping on. just like a lobster setting in for a nice warm bath. You turn the heat up slowly enough, you get settled in. Before you know it, at some point, you're fried, you're toast, you're done. So people don't really notice it right up front. Their body will whisper at them. I'm sure his neuropathy started with a teeny tiny whisper and he ignored it. And the whisper turned into a yell eventually, a shout, and now it's screaming at him. He can't even put his seatbelt on because he has no feeling in his hand because the neuropathy is so bad. And even now with where he's at with his body screaming at him to change his lifestyle, he comes back with a 2-liter thing of pop, big bag of Chiefs puffs, and he's chowing away on that right now. And all the medical treatment in the world, it isn't going to save his life. It's going to prolong his life, probably for as long as possible, because let's face it, the pharmaceutical industry has mastered the art of managing people's sicknesses while curing them of nothing. It's like extending the life of a tomato. The true tragedy from the drug companies is going to be when he dies, because they'll have lost a customer. Or if he, takes some health advice from me, he changes his diet and heals all of his nerve endings, and then he no longer needs the medication. That would be the other real tragedy. But the goal of his drug peddlers and the drug makers themselves is to manage him of his neuropathy for the rest of his life and to drag that life out as long as they can and cure him of absolutely nothing because they don't want to lose that customer. So it really is up to us to self-educate, and it's also up to us to talk about it openly and freely with our friends and family, but not in a bulldozerish sort of way. Because believe me, I know it's frustrating. Sometimes we want to grab these people, shake them, smack them around a bit, but they don't really listen to that, And maybe not physically grab them and shake them up a bit and slap them around, but even just a verbal bulldozer is enough to where people just want nothing to do with listening to you about something that you might have that could really help them. You know what I'm saying? So it's also incumbent upon us to at least try to reach people in ways that's a bit more productive. Maybe find out if somebody's open first before you just go, bleh. You know what I'm saying? And those that aren't open, well, not to go any further. But maybe down the road they will be open. And then the ones that are open, first of all, if you take that approach, I think you're going to be able to reach more people than if you don't find out if they're open first. So you'll be able to reach more people that way to begin with. Then you'll be able to have those conversations, that dialogue, and maybe you can share something with somebody that can really help them out. Like this guy I just had in my car, he's got the neuropathy so bad. So that's really important for us to be mindful of that and not charge at people like a bulldozer and just get, well, if you weren't so stupid with your diet, maybe you wouldn't have neuropathy and be overweight and have low energy. That doesn't work. I mean, we could be dead right, but most people aren't going to listen. Now, somebody like me, and maybe one or two of you, you could hear some tough talk like that, and you might be like, oh, he's an asshole, but you know what? He's right. Like, I can do that just fine. I can listen to somebody scream at me. If they have a point, I can be like, well, the person's kind of an asshole, but, they're right. Maybe I need to change something. Because I'm objective like that. But, very few people are objective. Most people just aren't, and they form opinions based on an alternate reality. So we have to be mindful of that as we're talking to people. And then, of course, the business that I got into is a health and wellness business about natural modalities, food, how we think, the thoughts we accept into our brain, and the ones we reject that we don't let take root into our brain, giving and receiving love all day long, getting plenty of good, deep REM sleep, maybe different kinds of meditation, obviously exercise, home fitness, nutritional supplements, organics, and all kinds of yoga, all kinds of different natural modalities that can take the place of medication safely with our doctor's approval. I always got to put that in there. And there's a time and place for modern Western medicine, but most of the time it's to make up for a lazy lifestyle. Most of the time modern medicine is really used as a crutch to make up for somebody not being faithful at all with the body they've been given, the body and mind. And that's where we go wrong, and that's where you have to really take self-ownership and self-educate and self-heal, and then talk about it with other people and try to help them out as a layperson, not so much an expert, unless you are an expert. But even if you're an expert, which is really cool, by the way, if you are, but even still, you really have to watch how you talk to people, because most people are not objective and they're not going to listen if you're not speaking to them in their language, so to speak. And that's worthwhile, learning how to communicate better with people. So I hope all that stuff made sense. And And I'll reiterate again, every dollar I make from the Lyft and ride sharing thing goes into my affordable housing project. And the reason I can afford to do that is because I started building passive and residual income in August of 2007. So I can do stuff like this, and I don't need a job, don't want a job, don't need a job. And I spend a little bit more money on the better food because I don't want to skimp out on that and be one of those suckers that's a cash cow sucker for drug companies. And also spending of my own money on average, like I said earlier. The person that skimps out at the grocery store and buys a cheaper food will spend an average of at least $100,000 or more in healthcare related costs. So saving that little bit of money on food costs a person everything. It costs them their health, their energy, and their wealth. And so it really turns out to be an obnoxiously self-sabotaging thing that people commonly do, including the nicest of the nicest people, like this man I had recently in my car just a few minutes ago as a passenger. So a lot of nice, very nice, sweet people are obnoxiously self-sabotaging when it comes to their health and their wealth, because they both go hand in hand. And that's another reason I got into the business I got into 11 years ago. Health, wellness, because we need it, but to make the marriage of the two, like a residual passive income solution that's married to health and wealth, because I figure you got your health, you got your wealth, you got your freedom, and you don't have to be obedient to a system that literally profits as a result of poisoning their consumer base. That sucks, doesn't it? To be dependent on a system for your income and your livelihood that profits literally as a direct result of poisoning their consumer base. That's not a system I want to be obedient to, and I don't want you to be obedient to it either. So get into passive and residual money as a direct result of adding health to the world and adding good things to the planet and other species that we coexist with. Make passive and residual money in a way that is a direct benefit of adding value to those different things, instead of being obedient and complicit to business as usual, making money at the expense of other people and the planet and other species that we coexist with in this world. Does that make sense? It's kind of a diatribe with some sidebars, but all related. Okay, good. I guess so. Susan, Helen, Leslie, Lori, Rochelle, Diane, Erica, Hazette, Amanda. Nice to see everyone. Jackie, Denise, Camille, Phyllis, Patricia, Trish, Holly, Cabrina, Sonia, Kimber, Jelena, Marlo, Dana, Mary, Jessica, Samantha, Amy, Kathy, Dylan, Delphi, Dawn, Holly, Terry, Reagan, Cassandra, and I think that's everyone. If I missed anyone, I apologize. Feel free to give me a high five, no, a comment. Share your thoughts. Ask questions if you'd like. I'll come back and I'll check this later. And my website is tomberkenmeyer.com, just like it's spelled here on social media, tomberkenmeyer.com. Hola, Regina. It's very good to see you. And hi, Tamara. It's nice to see you too. So I'm going to log off for now. I'll come back and I'll check the comments later and interact with whoever wants to interact with me more in this thing. Looking forward to the interaction and the engagement. Bye for now, and I hope you got something out of this video. Oh, and by the way, speaking of health and how I so badly wanted to help this really nice man that got into my car, I've got my whole grocery list on my website, the tomberkenmeyer.com one that I've given a few times throughout this live feed. Just go there at tomberkenmeyer.com and you'll see a Get Healthy section. There's a big comprehensive healthy grocery list, and I show you how to source food, because it's not just about what you buy and the ingredients you buy, but it's also about how it's sourced, the type of soil it grows in, and how to look for well-sourced foods, and also how to put it all together for easy, healthy, medicinal, tasty meals of all stripes. A lot of raw stuff, some cooked stuff, easy to make stuff, 3 ingredients or less stuff, and then there's complicated stuff and easy, convenient stuff, and on and on and on and on to solve, whatever problem you might be having. And it's been sort of this working asana that just builds upon itself. Like I started it about 7 or 8 years ago or something like that. And in that time, I'm constantly building it as I learn new things, and I want to share new stuff, and it'll just constantly build. So check it on a regular basis. And also on the side column, you'll see where you can enter your email, and you'll be on my subscriber list where I send out updates once in a while to everybody as I feel new important stuff comes out that I learned that I want to share with you, okay? So take that too. And bye for now, everyone. Mwah.